78% of suicide rates worldwide are men. What can we do to help them? Destigmatize men talking about their feelings and thoughts. Reminds me of the George Carlin bit. Women attempt suicide more often, but men succeed more often. So men are better at it. If women want to be truly equal, they have to start taking their own lives in greater numbers. Edit, linked a bit. Kill us yourselves. That way the suicide rate is lower. Probably do something about the male homeless problem. Last stat I saw was around 85% of the homeless population was male. I don't think we should help people with committing suicide. Murder me so I'm no longer part of that sad group. Work towards fixing the fact that most men have some form of depression. Probably ease all of the pressure our society puts on men. We don't talk about the emotional toll of social pressure on men nearly enough. Provide more opportunities to form communities and activities that cater to different men's needs. A lot of us don't have friends or intimate platonic relationships, and we're in desperate need of that. US-centric response. So many responses are around supposed cultural insistence that men be tough or stoic. But over the last few decades there has been a huge cultural push to make it okay for men to be sensitive and share feelings. An American male is way more encouraged to express his feelings than he was in 2000, Oregon 1990, Oregon 1980. Has this correlated to a decrease in the male suicide rate? Is there an objective increase? Or is this all perception based on increased information availability? Real questions. Not turn them away when they tell us what they're struggling with. Oh my dog, this blew up. Anyway, I'm so sorry to everyone who posted here sharing their cases of being turned down. I hope you all find someone who is gonna listen and help you. Blue heart, sparkling heart. Statistically speaking, men work more, work longer hours, work in more dangerous professions and consume more drugs, alcohol and other. In addition, men, on average, have fewer close friends and feel lonelier than women. I think the fatigue of such a life can be quite draining. I don't think the problem is that men do not talk about their feelings. I think the problem is that they often don't have someone to talk to. In addition, it can be quite hard to make new friends. Especially when you are past your 20s. You know, people you are potentially interested in are married and have kids. They are preoccupied with their own lives. I felt very lonely and sad after my last long-term relationship ended. It took me over 6 months to find new friends, and I'm a hardcore extrovert. Still, I made a bunch of new friends within the past year or so. I'd like to encourage anyone who feels lonely to put yourself out there. Talk to people. If you like them, ask them if they like to hang out with you. Do you know how I became friends with one of my best friends? I straight up told him that I felt lonely and that I like him and would like to become friends with him. And for those of you who already have plenty of friends and a busy life, maybe make some room for people in your community who aren't as blessed as you are. Compliment them, even if it's something small. Wow, that's a nice shirt, it looks good on you. Your hair looks nice today. A girl complimented my nose 4 years ago. Weird, I know, but I still remember that compliment. Although we are encouraged to be open about how we feel or think, we can't. If something is a genuine problem and we verbalize it, the reaction is almost always others jumping down our throat as we have no right to complain, or mocking as we have supposedly been living privileged. It's become worse in recent years as we literally have to tiptoe around while being blamed for everything generations before us supposedly did. Most men alive today had no part in anything that was done to others. We were born into a different world where we have always been on the back foot, yet carry a lot of the blame and stigma from things we had nothing to do with. I'm expecting this post to get mass downvoted purely for openly saying what I personally live and experience. We don't talk about that shit because it gets hammered back at us, so we shut the fuck up and just keep going until we break. Then everyone is like, oh, you should have said something. No, we shouldn't, as it just creates more stress and makes things more difficult. And #X200B. You want to help? Then create an environment for men equal to that of everyone else instead of dwelling on the doings of long dead people and putting men separate and last. The thing about equality is that everyone is equal regardless of gender, sexuality and age, etc. People want to know what can be done to help, but when they know it just gets buried again. It's easier to just not bring it up so we don't face all the BS and drama about how hard everyone else has it as if we live in golden castles. Too many people see the world through decades-old rose-tinted glasses. Things need to change. We like hugs. And #X200B. And #X200B. Just hug less. I want a hug edit. Wow, that's a lot of hugs. Hugs everyone who saw this. Stop overworking and underpaying them and putting unreasonable expectations on them. Emotional support is useless if it does not fix the problem. Act like spiritual and personal needs of the individual are more powerful and important than coin. That would be an excellent start. Both genders receive an awful lot of unfairness. It seems to me that it's semi-universally embraced to try to correct unfairness against women, but don't you dare speak out against unfairness to men. I was talking to my wife the other day about something I noticed at work. I'm a not conventionally attractive guy, and through the couple years I worked at this job, I noticed that all of the single younger women were somewhat cold to me. One-word answers, not smiling, that kind of thing. I am monogamous and was happily taken this whole time. I never said anything even slightly flirtatious. Just tried to have general chit-chat while I fixed their computers. Suddenly after getting married, which was announced to everyone at work, all of these women were willing to speak to and be friendly back to me. I mean, all of them. It caught me off guard. They ask me questions now. We have actual conversations. Complete 180 degrees. My wife and I think this is because they were trying to avoid friendliness so I wouldn't hit on them, as they've likely had experiences with that kind of thing in the past. Can we all agree that this paradigm is a problem for both genders? I met my wife in high school. I was one of the lucky ones. Imagine being a less than attractive guy without a partner, and the only available women literally refuse to talk to you, through no fault of your own. I was 100% workspace etiquette appropriate and was still met with that response, so isn't always an issue of the guy being creepy or forward. No wonder so many guys get depressed, or so many go down the dark road of red pill bullshit. It doesn't matter how much of a good personality you have if they don't treat you like a person. I realize loneliness is only one of many causes of male suicides, but I'm ultra empathetic. Obligatory. This will be USA-centric. Opioids, war-related PTSD, states that never recovered from the recession, traditionally male industries being automated or replaced, something that'll get even worse when self-driving trucks happen. Men are also allegedly more prone to attempt suicide in more violent ways, a gun versus some pills that you could throw up. The why isn't that baffling, but I'm worried it'll get worse as rural communities get left further and further behind. We can work to promote more blue-collar jobs, fight to make mental health care more accessible, and do more for people struggling with drugs, alcohol, and PTSD. But I'm not sure we will. Stop assuming anyone concerned about men's issues is a misogynist. A previous member of the Norwegian royal family committed suicide this Christmas, 50-year-old male. After this, the Prime Minister told the public that she wanted to investigate the mental health of the population, especially for girls. Sometimes I hate politics. We are failing our precious boys. Stop telling boys when they're young they are not allowed to experience natural human emotions. Create an actual support network so that boys aren't reluctant to seek help. Stop telling boys they are worthless if they don't possess psychopathic levels of narcissism and emotional stoicism. Parents need to start taking responsibility for the damage they cause to their kids, instead of just blaming it all on other kids/parents. Society in general needs to reduce the stigma of mental illness, especially when it comes to how it affects young men. Stop telling boys and young men to simply stop being a pussy and deal with it. There are certain scenarios where they do in fact need to man up to a degree, but it just doesn't apply universally. Stop putting almost all the pressure of success entirely on men. We live in a society now where the majority of people need a second income to survive, and it shouldn't be only one sex's responsibility. Stop telling men they are worthless if they don't possess an unattainable standard of wealth and genetics, not to mention an unrealistically ideal family upbringing. Stop allowing men to be completely fucked over in divorce like it should be totally normal. Lawyers and judges are mostly to blame here.